Stay with me, stay with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Pray with me, pray with me, pray with me, oh my soul. Pray with me, pray with me, pray with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
And welcome to Beacon Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm Kathy Bataille, your worship associate for today, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a rather short, older, pale-skinned woman with long, curly white hair, and I'm wearing a teal and black outfit today. I want to give a special welcome to those who are joining us virtually. We are gathered on the continued and ancestral lands of the Lenni Lenape. Please share your name in the chat, the lands you join us from, and the people whose lands it is. Thank you. Today, we also wish a Happy New Year to all who observe Rosh Hashanah. Our service today is designed a little bit differently, in part so that those who are heading to the march to end fossil fuels can catch the train in time. We don't want you driving in. So you may notice that our elements have been moved around a bit. We hope if you aren't marching that you can join us for some extra time to connect in the Beacon Cafe. It's going to be held upstairs here at 10:30 and downstairs later at noon, if you happen to still be there. We welcome William Michaels. Where are you? Sorry. He's here. Thank you. I couldn't see you. I was a little lost. Thank you. As our vocalist today. William recently appeared in Parade on Broadway and has also performed on Broadway in Bright Star, South Pacific, and Beauty and the Beast. He has also sung with orchestras, including the San Francisco, San Diego, and Utah symphonies, the New York Pops, and the Philly Pops. So it should be a great treat. Thank you again for being here today. Your presence and your light matter. Whether you come with resounding energy or in need of rekindling, we value who you are. We welcome here a diversity of experiences, spiritualities, identities, and together we seek beloved community. So welcome, beloved. Welcome to Beacon. Please join us in our opening hymn, number 1011, Return Again.
Please rise if you're willing and able. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul.
I think we're awake enough to give a little applause of our gratitude. It is indeed a good morning, beloved. I'm Reverend Robin. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a member of the lead ministry team here at our Beacon Unitarian Universalist congregation. I am a short white woman, nearly midlife, with brown shoulder-length hair, and I am wearing a green and blue stole this day. Beloved, Hope already began her day at the kitchen table over toast and sliced orange. As we remember the taste of sunrise and looked into one another's eyes, courage captured in the hands connecting silently, while the children giggle unaware of the silent promises their parents make. Hope is deep, yes, in the sanctuaries, the temples, the mosques, the synagogues, on the prayer mat, the talus brushing across the shoulder, the candles ablaze, our voices rise in the resonance of resistance and resilience. Hope is enduring. They are knitting her together into form once more. The floors of the factory are animated with the rivets of her persistence, as the mothers of the movement answer her call, some sitting down, some rising, some wheeling, all moving in the motion of her genesis. Hope was there, beloved, at your birth, when you were named into being and held toward the eastern sky. Remember, dear ones, hope, like flame, rises up once more.
Our reading this morning is an excerpt from And There Was Light by Jacques Lucéron. I went blind at the age of 8. It was a great surprise to find myself blind. And being blind was not at all as I imagined it, nor was it as the people around me seemed to think. They told me that to be blind meant not to see. Yet, how was I to believe them when I saw? Not at once, I admit. Not in the days immediately after the operation. For at that time, I still wanted to use my eyes. I followed their usual path. I looked in the direction where I was in the habit of seeing before the accident, and there was anguish, a lack, something like a void, which filled me with what grown-ups call despair. Finally, one day, and it was not long in coming, I realized that I was looking in the wrong way. This was much more than a simple discovery, it was a revelation. I can still see myself in the Champ de Mars, where my father had taken me for a walk a few days after the accident. Of course, I knew the garden well, its ponds, its railings, its iron chairs. I even knew some of the trees well enough in person, and naturally, I wanted to see them again. But I couldn't. I threw myself forward into the substance which was space, but which I did not recognize because it no longer held anything familiar to me. At this point, some instinct, I was about to say a hand laid on me, made me change course. I began to look more closely. Not at things, but at a world closer to myself. Looking from an inner place to one further within, instead of clinging to the movement of sight toward the world outside. Immediately, the substance of the universe drew together, redefined, and peopled itself anew. I was aware of a radiance emanating from a place I knew nothing about, a place which might as well have been outside me as within, but radiance was there, or, to put it more precisely, light. It was a fact, for light was there. Sighted people always talk about the night of blindness, and that seems to them quite.
Once upon, are folks having trouble hearing, maybe? Okay, let's see if we can pull the mic up just a little bit more, Henry. All right, how's that? Is that better? Good. All right. Thank you for telling me. Once upon a time, hope was essential, like water and air and light itself. It was impossible to imagine life without hope. Hope for change, hope as a many-feathered bird, hope as trumpet and voice, Louis and Ella late into the night, floating above concrete in Harlem, hope in the possibility that the crush of indulgence and abuse could be transformed 95 points nailed to a door. Hope like a stone hewn out of a mountain of despair by Martin. Hope in the birth of the next generation. Hope like an unfettered human in the story long ago, asking in that garden of dullness and boredom, what is freedom? Dare I bite the apple? Audacity, ferocity, tenacity of hope. But today, beloved, hope is harder to find. Crouched under the bleachers from ridicule and despair, the certainty of pessimism, the pervasiveness of the victor, hope is barely a whisper in many corners of this country. Hope is out of style, naive, outdated, antiquated. Jacques Luciron became blind at the age of 8 from a classroom accident. As a teenager, he began to hear about the rise of Hitler, and he decided to study German in order to understand the content of the radio broadcasts and to learn how to fight fascism. When Hitler invaded France, he formed a resistance group and began publishing an underground paper. He was only 17 at the time, and he soon became the voice of the underground resistance in France. According to the author Maria Popova, 2 years later, he was betrayed by a member of that group and arrested by the Gestapo. He was sent to a prison where he spent 6 months in a cell 4 feet long by 3 feet wide. It was there that he began to shift his consciousness, saying that he was no longer in a prison cell, but a church underground, a movement for liberation. He wrote later of that time, "The mechanism of hope in our hearts must have 1,000 springs, almost all of them unknown to us." 1,000 springs, almost all of them unknown to us. Of course, hope is not a fairy tale of once upon a time, and it's certainly not accidental or come by easily. It takes muscle, right? It is built like Lucien learned to see anew, away from what everyone said was impossible or how they said his blindness must be. When what they told you, when all you ruled out as impossible falls away from your own mind, it is then, Lucien said, that the light streams in. Last Sunday evening, I went to Central Presbyterian Church in order to help dedicate a memorial garden for those who had died of COVID-19. I was there as the new president of the Summit Interfaith Council, and they explained about the garden, how people needed somewhere to go in those early days of COVID. But at that point in the pandemic, of course, it wasn't safe to go inside. And they had this bench outside of the church. It wasn't a garden. It wasn't intended for anything special in particular, but having nowhere to go, people started one by one taking time on that bench. Sometimes the pastor reported with tears in their eyes. Sometimes he saw them mumbling what he thought must be quiet prayers in the middle of the day, sometimes just sitting quietly with their eyes closed. To bless this space, I read a responsive reading that you can find in the back of our gray hymnal that we often read at celebrations of life or memorials. It's entitled, "We Remember Them," by Sylvan Commons and Rabbi Jack Reimer. At the rising sun and at its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. It was then, after I was done, that the architect of the garden explained that they had intentionally planted pollinators in this memorial garden. She said, in the wake of grief and in the presence of memory, she also wanted to seed life and hope. I wondered about the 1,000 springs of hope, where they are now, like the butterflies that will come to the garden and the bumblebees reminding us of hope not as an abstract, but as real as muscle, as real as the substance of something that could animate one's heart to endure a prison cell and transform it into an underground network of resistance, to even see it as something sacred like a church. Today, some of us will march in the March to End Fossil Fuels. In the words of the organizers, we all want fresh air to breathe, good jobs for our families, a planet where our lands and oceans thrive. But the more oil, gas, and coal we burn, the more toxic air we breathe, the more heat waves, fires, and floods we face, all while wealthy fossil fuel CEOs rake in record profits from dirty practices that pollute our communities. President Biden has the power to stop them by putting an end to the expansion of fossil fuels, ensuring that we all have clean air and water, better health, and safety for our communities. We deserve a world free from fossil fuels. Right, Beacon? Yes. And this is our chance. It is President Biden's opportunity to break free from fossil fuels and build a just and safe future, to go before the United Nations and lead. Tomorrow, a few of us will participate in a nonviolent direct action that may result in our arrest as we head to Wall Street. As you may know, it's not my first turn at nonviolent direct action.
That's why we love you.
But I haven't done anything in a while, I swear, officer. And so I had been thinking about the process again because I've gotten a little rusty. My springs of hope are a little rusty, shall we say. And I was looking at my old armbands, and I came across a permanent marker, a Sharpie, and I remembered how we used to write the number of the attorney that we needed to call when we got that one call to make on our arms. And you know how memories come back to you all of a sudden. I was just flooded with the memories, and I remembered my very first action in North Carolina and how I was just panicked. It was summer, and it was hot, and we were outside, and I was panicked that somehow the number was going to bleed, and I was going to be rendered stuck forever in jail, unable to reach my attorney. But there, of course, was Gita, my attorney, ready when I called. In that small jail cell with the metal toilet in the middle of God and everybody, shivering from the air conditioning in the jail, uneased by the buzz of the lights, it felt at that moment like something of a miracle when I was handed that greasy phone and punched in her numbers. And a voice answered, explained what to do next, and calmly reminded me that I was not the sum of that small room or all of my fears at that moment. To hope, beloved, is not a fairy tale. It is not a commodity or some otherworldly gift. It is human, and it is still here. It is essential. It has been in you all along. Yes, amen. That was the best amen I've ever gotten. 1,000 springs of hope, the writer promises from the jail cell. A lawyer penned on an arm, perhaps the name of a child whose future your actions are ensuring. 1,000 springs of hope, a memory when the dragonflies filled the docks before the pesticides came and killed them. The memory of our own grief woven with the hope, sitting on a bench with mourning and yet bearing witness to the seeding of new life. Who is written upon your arm in permanent marker? Who or what is written as 1,000 springs of hope this day to march one more time, to plant the pollinator, to shut it down, to mount the solar panels, to shout the words of truth like the prophets of old, and to believe this high holy days that a good year, a new year is possible. When we march and we refuse to be lied to, we remember them. When we see past party affiliation and demand a higher cause, we remember them. When we say no to the fossil fuel industry and say yes to a real future, we remember them. When we rise to the day in the smallest of ways to remember the bumblebee winging toward dawn and the butterfly, yes, beloved, we remember them. When we plant the pollinator or choose to reduce our waste, when our children call us to do better and we do better, we remember them. When we dare to move from the prison cells of our certitude into the underground of resistance, when we hope, when we rise, when we live for a future not our own, then, beloved, yes, this day, we
Please rise, if you're willing and able, to sing hymn number 1007, There's a River Flowing in My Soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Good. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Vicky. That was awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is Tuli Patel. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm wearing a blue kurta, which is what we call in India, and I have graying hair.
It was Rabbi Abraham Heschel who said, upon being accused of being too political for marching with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that the entire time while he was marching, he said he felt as if he was praying with his feet.
As Unitarian Universalists, we have many statements of faith that declare the importance of living in right relationship with the earth, including our seventh principle, yes, which affirms the interdependence web of all life and existence. In our 2006 Statement of Conscience, Unitarian Universalists across the world declared, Earth is our home. We are part of this world, and its destiny is our own. Life on this planet will be gravely affected unless we embrace new practices, new ethics, and values to guide our lives on a warming planet.
We further affirmed at that General Assembly that we will not acquiesce to the ongoing degradation and destruction of life that human actions are leaving to our children and grandchildren. We declared as Unitarian Universalists that we are called to join with others to halt practices that fuel global warming, climate change, to instigate sustainable alternatives, and to mitigate the impending effects of global warming and climate change with just and ethical responses. As a people of faith, we commit to a renewed reverence for life and respect for the interdependent web of all existence.
I'd like to call forward our marchers. I believe there are 20 of you, maybe not all here this morning, but many present as well. So come on up. Excellent. Your marching today is a prayer from the very core of our bones. There we go. I'll be right back. Did you guys hear that? From the very core of our bones, from stardust to stardust, you are reaching out with the spiritual ancestors about your shoulders and with the visions of 7 generations from now, holding you.
As you go, we are about to bless you with the waters of our community, gathered across over 25 years of water ceremonies. With these waters, may you take from this community and this faith hope and courage.
Our children have made signs of the chancel, and we ask that you carry the central one. As you remember that there was once a UU leader named H.G. Wenzel, who said that keepers of the dream would come again and again from what humble places we would not know. They would struggle against crushing odds, leaving behind no worldly kingdom but only a gleam in the dark hills to show how high we might climb. Already, he said, there had been many such people whose names and faces we may not know, but whose deeds kindle the path still. Thank you, beloveds. Thank you for being keepers of the dream. Here ends our blessing. Thank you all. I'd like to call forward Bev to tell us a little bit more about her journey at Beacon.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Beverly Aubrey, she, her. I want to tell you about Miriam. As part of our social justice ministry, Beacon has opened its arms to welcome and support a courageous Afghan professor in her escape from Kabul. The story is long, but first, let me go back in time. 60 years ago, I was a 22-year-old Peace Corps teacher in Morocco. Alone in Fez, a large conservative city, I became immersed in Arabic and Berber culture and taught at a women's school there. Navigating friendships outside of school was quite challenging and complicated. Coming home, I felt fragile and unsure of myself. Living in such a different culture was exciting, but also confusing. And much has happened since then. Fast forward, I married Stu, we raised a family, I obtained my clinical license in social work, we bought a weekly newspaper, and had the professional adventure of our lives. But then Stu died of early onset Alzheimer's, and our promising world together collapsed. That was 19 years ago. Beacon held me close during that difficult time. My trauma was small, though, compared to the upheaval of Miriam's life. She had realized her dream of creating a counseling center for women and conducting research and teaching psychology. However, once the Taliban seized power, the center was destroyed. Life for her and her family became very dangerous. She was under constant threat from the Taliban. Miriam's escape from Kabul would not have been possible without the support she received from Beacon. But in the process, she lost her home, her job, and had to leave her family behind. I've had the privilege of hosting Miriam for several months and helping her navigate the cultural differences between a Muslim country and the US. Now we are honoring her at a special fundraising event next Saturday evening. Details are in our newsletter. Come learn more about her and meet some of her colleagues. There will be Afghan food, drinks, and good conversations. Whether you can attend or not, we appreciate your tax-deductible contributions, which will go towards the huge legal fees for asylum. In closing, I want to thank you, Reverend Robin, Kristen Peck, who just walked in, Ellen Boylan, who's going on the march, for responding to an urgent request to help Miriam and her colleagues escape to safety here. Let's continue to hold Miriam close as she rebuilds her life in the US. Let's show her our love.
Thank you, Bev. For this and so much more for the good works of this congregation, your offerings will now be gratefully received.
Fields of children running wild in the sun, like a forest is your child, growing wild in the sun. Gather your children, side in the sun. Tell them all they love will die. Tell them why in the sun. Tell them it's not too late. Cultivate one by one. Tell them to harvest and rejoice in the sun. Fields of children running wild in the sun, like a forest is your child, growing wild in the sun. Tell them it's not too late. Cultivate one by one. Tell them to harvest and rejoice in the sun.
Good morning, Beacon. My name is Allison Murphy, she, her. I am a white woman with brown hair, a blue shirt, and sneakers for marching today. I'm one of the chaplains here at Beacon, and chaplains extend the spiritual care of our community. We like to remind everyone, including chaplains, that everyone is in need of spiritual care at various points of their lives. One of the rituals of our spiritual care is our candle lighting, and together we light candles of joy, sorrow, and gratitude. This morning we kindle a light with and wish Shana Tova for all those observing Rosh Hashanah. A candle of healing for a smooth recovery for Beacon member Colleen Mannion, who had surgery this week. A candle of gratitude for the relentless dedication of our Beacon Summit Warm Heart volunteers and our partners with the Summit Interfaith Council, as well as the Summit Police Department, for responding to a situation here this week with compassionate professionalism, and to the ongoing commitment in love and service to the well-being of our unhoused neighbors. We light a candle and celebrate with our partners in Joel, am I saying? Jawai, thank you, and the Unitarians across Northeast India who celebrate the founding of Unitarianism, sorry, I'm messing all the words up today, in Northeast India tomorrow by Hojam Kishore Singh, marking 136 years of Unitarianism in Northeast India. We light a candle and lift up the family of Janavi Kandula, who continue to feel the ripples of loss and the injustice with the recently released recordings. We light a candle of sorrow for all the lives lost and the people still missing in Libya after severe flooding this week. And lastly, a candle of hope and solidarity with our Beacon members who joined thousands marching for climate justice in New York today. With gratitude to Kathleen Grant, who's organized our contingent here. If you are marching with us, please follow me out to the lobby during the candle lighting. Don't wait till the end so we can make our train. And we invite those not marching to come forward and light a candle this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. For our meditation, I invite you to settle in. Either gently close your eyes or gaze at a spot in front of you. You want to be in a position that you can comfortably hold for about 5 minutes. Usually people prefer their feet placed solidly on the ground so that they can be connected to the earth, backs supported by your seat. And we bring our attention now to our inner climate. Our inner climate that can echo and reflect what is happening outside. Sometimes stormy winds outside will make us feel agitated inside, as will calm weather will bring a sense of calm and stillness. Hot weather might generate heat. So whatever it is, noticing without judgment, without analysis, the climate in our inner lives. If thoughts appear in your mind's eye, if they come into your mind, that is okay. Let them be in the background. When they are in the background and you are not focused on them, you are developing equanimity. They are not dominating your current state, whatever it may be. As you sit in this period of quiet and stillness and focused concentration, allow there to arise in your mind's eye an image of a person that you would carry with you if you were going on a march. Perhaps you would have written their number in Sharpie on your forearm. Who is this person that you carry with you? Whose cloak, which ancestor's cloak is around your shoulders? There might be several ancestors. Several people whose names and faces we might not know, who have carried the flame for us, lighting the way for us, urging us on. And the 7 generations before us whose names we also do not know, for whom we carry and light the flame. With all this holding us, our ancestors, and those for whom we remember to work, to right wrongs, to fight for justice, and to ever keep moving forward, we remember. I invite you from this place of groundedness, of commitment, of being with our marchers even though we might not be with them physically, we are with them in spirit, to take a deep breath in, to gently open your eyes, to return to the sacred hour in space, and to rise as you are able to sing hymn number 1064, Blue Boat Home.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my
little Max in the back, you are invited to join hands as well. Let's invite JB and her other parent and Max to come into the circle. And now, in our comings and goings, may the light of love shine down upon us, out from within us, be gracious unto us, and grant us peace, fortitude, and energy. For this is the day we are given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Amen. Blessed be.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah.